Thank you for joining me here this afternoon. The time is now 3:49 p.m. Central, 4:49 p.m. Eastern, and you have a live look at a damaging tornado on the ground in the Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas tri-state region. Currently, we have a confirmed tornado based off of radar north of Vivian, Louisiana. We have a definite debris signature that lines up with a velocity couplet, or at least we did as of a couple scans ago. Again, it was a tornado that was on the ground briefly east of Vivian and is now occluded likely, but we could certainly see this touchdown again any minute, and it is continuing with that observed tornado warning. So if you're in this area, you need to seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. This tornado warning is going out for Lafayette and Miller counties in Arkansas, Cass County in Texas, and Caddo Parish in Louisiana. This includes portions of the I-49 corridor in between Austin and the Ida area. So again, if you're in this area, please seek shelter immediately. We're dealing with a slightly unexpected severe weather outbreak today across portions of Texas and Louisiana. They updated this to a slight risk of severe weather at the 2000 Z outlook, as it was evident that we were going to have a somewhat decent tornado threat today in this area, especially after we had a discrete supercell tear across portions of eastern Texas and western Louisiana there. It was a very impressive supercell based off the reflectivity. It never really developed too much rotation. We never had any confirmed tornadoes touch down with it, but it was a pretty impressive supercell for a while, and now we're dealing with something similar up here further to the north along I-49 near Ida. So again, if you are in this area, please seek shelter immediately. Again, we did have a pretty tight velocity couplet there for a couple of scans as this moved in between Vivian and Austin, and it's going to continue to push north here and potentially produce another tornado. So again, Ida, Smithville, Doddridge, Ravenna, 3 states, Sandra, Rodessa, you guys are all in the path of this tornadic circulation here, and again, we definitely could see this recycle another tornado within the next 5 minutes or so. So if you're in this area, please stay in your safe spot. The only thing that killed this is that this is not a discrete environment. It kind of got cut off there by another supercell, but that could certainly recycle once again here within the next few minutes. That supercell may not permanently stop it. So we're also dealing with a surprise severe thunderstorm up into portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin today. This is currently a severe thunderstorm warning going out for the south side of Duluth and portions of Lake Superior there. We're going to get back to that in just a second, but we did actually just get a brand new tornado warning that is likely going to be an extension there for our tornado warning storm approaching southwest Arkansas, but we're going to see here in just a second because it has disappeared, but it'll pop up on your screen in just a moment here. So we're going to wait for that to come in. Okay, that's actually not. This is a brand new tornado warning storm in between Leesville, Louisiana, and the Browndell, Texas area. This is actually quite impressive rotation approaching Highway 392. So again, if you're in this area, seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. No confirmed tornado on the ground with this at this time, but that could certainly change any minute because this is a very impressive velocity couplet. So again, if you're in this area, please seek shelter immediately. I'm going to go ahead and share the stream out with as many people as possible. I encourage you guys to do the same because, again, this was something that we were not expecting to deal with this afternoon whenever the day started. So this is somewhat of a breaking news situation. So let me go ahead and get this out there on social media. Again, if you guys know anybody out here in portions of the Deep South, make sure to send them this stream. Let them know what's going on because we're going to be here for as long as necessary covering this severe weather threat because this is, again, an unexpected one to say the least. So let me go and throw out a community post really quickly, and then we'll go and get some stream chat up. Just give me just a second here. Okay. So, again, if you are included in this brand new tornado warning here, make sure that you are getting to your safe spot. Again, preferably underground. If you can't get underground, get on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Again, you want to get in the middle of that room. You want to get as far away from the walls as possible because, obviously, that's going to be the first area that goes, all right? You want to be in the middle of your room. Again, you do not want to be near windows, that is for sure. Again, if you're near windows, you got to get away because a tornado of even the weakest intensity would shatter those. So again, make sure you're getting away from windows. Sam with the $2 donation, thanks for the update. Yeah, no problem. Again, this was something that I felt we should go live for because we have nobody live right now, literally nobody. So let me go ahead and get you thrown up there on the dono board. W Sam's in the chat. Huge shout out to Sam for the $2 donation. Thank you very much, greatly appreciated. So let's go ahead and go back here to our Minnesota-Wisconsin storm. Again, this is a storm that has been severe warned for a while now. Again, just now approaching the Minnesota-Wisconsin state line with a very impressive hail core over the Mattawa area. Again, this is going to be approaching Atkinson, Renshaw, Holyoke, Foxborough, and Chaffee over the next several minutes. So if you are in this area, make sure that you are seeking a shelter indoors and away from windows, because again, pretty significant hailstorm on its way. Again, the moisture content up this far north is obviously non-existent, so that is what has led to this impressive of a hail core being developed with this storm. Again, very interesting though, because the Duluth, Minnesota radar picks this all up as freezing rain and sleet, but obviously that is not the case here. We've got ourselves a fully fledged severe thunderstorm moving off to the east, but again, it's crazy because a 1 degree temperature difference could turn this into snow. I mean, this is one of the more interesting severe thunderstorm setups that we've seen in a while. Again, this storm exploded in intensity, and it's traveling off to the east-southeast there. Again, if this stays on the general track that it's heading for right now, we're going to be dealing with this crossing I-35 within the next 15 to 20 minutes, and then it's eventually going to make its way through areas in north-central Wisconsin. Mattawa, you've got about 11 minutes, Atkinson about 14 minutes, Otter Creek 16 minutes, Dusler 19 minutes, Black Hoof 21 minutes. Going down the line here to some of our bigger towns in Wisconsin, Dewey, you've got about 32 minutes until it makes it your way. Solon Springs, you've got yourselves about an hour until this heads your way. Marengo, about an hour or 115 minutes rather, so about 2 hours. But yeah. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Again, one of the reasons we're seeing this severe thunderstorm warning, and the only reason that we're seeing this severe thunderstorm warning, is for hail. This is not any sort of wind threat. This is a hail threat, and this all developed because there's almost no moisture content out here. So it managed to develop a pretty impressive hail core pretty quickly. Again, 70 dBZs, 71 dBZs actually here, as it was southeast of Tamarack. Again, likely producing hail of ping pong ball size or larger. So if you're in this area, make sure you're getting indoors and away from windows. Again, our bigger situation, though, is ongoing further down to the south. Again, a tornado watch is in effect for sections of southeastern Texas and southwestern Louisiana. We got this issued a few hours ago as the Storm Prediction Center noted that there would be an enhanced tornado threat over a small corridor of these states throughout the afternoon and evening time hours. And again, here we are watching multiple tornado warning storms at once. Again, originally, guys, this was a marginal risk day. We did say yesterday that we would go live if necessary at this point, and it is quite necessary. So we're going to be here covering this for quite a while. Again, no longer a confirmed tornado with our storm near Ida. However, we would not be shocked to see that recycle over the next few minutes. So if you're in this area, stay in your safe spot. It is entering an environment that's going to be less favorable for tornadic development, though, over the next 30 minutes. We do have some storms down by the Houston area. A line of storms here producing some damaging winds, likely of 50 to 60 miles an hour, so wouldn't be surprised to see a severe thunderstorm warning for this line shortly. We did just get an extension of that tornado warning for our southern storm into portions of west central Louisiana for Toro, Raton, and Clare. So if you are in this area, seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. This is the exact same area that was under a tornado warning earlier today. So again, if you're in this area, seek shelter once again. This definitely could end up being a big-time flooding problem for sections of western Louisiana as well, because again, these are areas that have been seeing severe thunderstorms move through all day with very heavy rainfall. They're slow-moving storms as well. For example, this storm is only moving off to the north at about 15 miles an hour, so it's going to be dropping that heavy rain over the same area for quite a while, and that's going to lead to some significant flash flooding. The Storm Prediction Center does have a mesoscale discussion, in effect, mentioning the potential for flash flooding all the way from sections of southeastern Texas back up towards the Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma quad state region. So if you're out here today, make sure that you are prepared and obviously try to avoid driving in flooded roadways. This is not going to be anything near what we saw in South Texas last night. I don't know if you guys saw the videos or the pictures, and we can't bring them up on our live feed, obviously, but that was one of the most devastating flash floods outside of hurricanes and tropical storms in South Texas history. I mean, that was insane. Again, one of the most unbelievable situations. A lot of you guys probably remember Hurricane Francine in the New Orleans area. It looks similar to that, if not worse. The only good news with this is that this was a very localized area. It was mainly over the Harlingen-McAllen area, but if you guys are out here, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I hope you're doing all right. We had reports of water flowing into businesses. It was a mess. It was a huge mess. What's up, Roman? What's up, Arcs? Dahani, how's it going? Indy's been getting it lately. Yeah, so that's another thing that we obviously cannot go this stream without mentioning. We are going to have a large multi-day severe weather outbreak starting with tomorrow. We have a slight risk of severe weather in place from sections of northeastern Oklahoma back into central Missouri. Now, I would not be shocked to get this upgraded to an enhanced risk of severe weather, but you have to hear my thought process. The threat for severe weather in southeast Kansas back through kind of central Oklahoma is very conditional, but if we do end up seeing something, it will be very significant most likely. We have a interesting environment out here, to say the least. If the cap erodes and we end up seeing significant severe thunderstorms, we're going to have a huge problem, because this is a just an unbelievably tornadically primed environment here. So if that does end up happening, we may see an addition to our enhanced risk of severe weather. Again, that is if the cap erodes, we'll see that slight risk get pushed further down to the south, and again, maybe an addition of an enhanced risk back through sections of western Missouri and eastern Kansas. It's more of a kind of high floor, low ceiling type event. Again, this event in Oklahoma is going to be a kind of low floor, high ceiling. We could either see absolutely nothing, or we could see a very significant tornado event. But whenever you get back into Missouri and Kansas, it starts to become more of a, okay, we're likely going to see a few tornadoes, but probably not much else. There's some more set in stone parameters for this area. Again, damaging winds, I think, are definitely going to be a big problem. We currently only have a 5% wind risk put in place for portions of the Central Plains, but I would almost bet they would add a 15% region here back into sections of Oklahoma, Kansas, and maybe even western Missouri. This slight risk of severe weather is not driven by tornadoes, but we do have a 2% tornado risk in place there, all the way from parts of central Missouri back into northeastern Oklahoma. Again, maybe a couple of brief spin-up tornadoes tomorrow, especially back here in the portions of eastern Kansas and western Missouri. I would not be shocked to see that. And again, if the cap erodes, we could be dealing with a very significant tornado event down in portions of Oklahoma. Now, the hail threat is certainly going to be in place as well. We currently do have a hatched risk for large hail in place for sections of eastern and southeastern Kansas, as well as north central Oklahoma. We are expecting some large damaging hail to be possible tomorrow in this area. So if you are out here, make sure that you do have a plan in place in case you do get under a severe thunderstorm warning mentioning that threat for large to very large hail. Again, that hatched risk going all the way from Tulsa, Oklahoma, back through to Topeka, Kansas. Now, this is only the beginning. We go into day 3 here, all right? Enhanced risk of severe weather in place from sections of northeastern Texas back into northern Indiana, all right? This is one of the largest enhanced risks that we have seen in a long time. Now, does that mean that this is going to be the most significant event we've seen in a long time? Absolutely not, but it means that it's going to be a very widespread thing, okay? We could be talking about, 20, 30, maybe even up to 40 severe thunderstorm warnings at once if worse comes to worse, because this enhanced risk goes all the way from sections of the Midwest back through into Dixie Alley, which is not something that happens too often. Now, the biggest threat looks to be significant tornadoes, all right? We're not going to sit here and underplay it, all right? Significant tornado parameter values are off the charts, not off the charts, but very high in sections of the Ohio River Valley, and earlier in the afternoon hours, also going to be a big-time threat for tornadoes back into sections of the mid-Mississippi Valley, say northeast Arkansas, southeastern Missouri, western Tennessee. I think that's going to be another hot spot for tornadic activity, but again, I think the main concern for a significant tornado threat is going to come across the Ohio River Valley here, so if you are in this area, make sure that you do have a tornado action plan in place for Sunday. But also, we've got ourselves another severe weather event coming after this, right? We do have a slight risk of severe weather for Monday, and we're going to talk about this just because this is the largest slight risk of severe weather of all time issued on a day 4 to 8 outlook. This goes all the way from central Louisiana back into southern New Hampshire. Again, this includes over 100 million people. This is about a quarter of the entire country under the gun for a severe weather threat, potentially a significant one on Monday here. Again, I think it's mostly just going to be a big-time damaging wind wind threat, but a couple of tornadoes, maybe even a brief strong one, definitely can't be ruled out. If I had to guess the placement of an enhanced risk edition, I would say probably somewhere down here in like the Carolinas and Georgia, but again, that could definitely change with time. Now, the Day 5 outlook, again, we do not have anything at the moment, but our Day 6 outlook here for I believe this is Wednesday. Yeah, it would be Wednesday, again, April 2nd here. Whoa, Apricot Rose with the $10 donation. W Apricot in the chat. Let's go. Spam those W's. You did not have to do that. I really do appreciate that. Again, we try to do our best here to provide accurate and worthwhile information. We're not going to sit here and overplay an event, but we also don't want to say, yeah, this is going to be nothing, because there is a good chance that we do end up seeing a pretty significant tornado outbreak this weekend across sections of the Ohio Valley and the Mississippi River Valley. So again, huge W Apricot in the chat for that $10 donation. I'm going to go ahead and throw my PayPal down in the chat, because I know a lot of people like to donate through PayPal, and I do appreciate that very much, because obviously YouTube takes 40% of whatever revenue we make off of streams. Why did I put PayPal $10? That's not what I meant to put. But obviously YouTube does take 40% of revenue that we make off of streams, so it is very appreciative whenever people go out of their way to donate through PayPal. That really does help out quite a bit. So I'll go ahead and throw that in the chat there. But again, huge W Apricot for that $10 donation. Awesome stuff. So anyway, again, big-time severe weather threat for portions of the Midwest and the Deep South, again, on April 2nd through April 3rd. Now, this is actually mainly going to be an overnight event. I think that we have to watch for the greatest tornado threat, but we're still pretty far out to talk about exact timing. So we're not going to, say, oh, it's going to be 3 a.m. through 6 a.m. quite yet, because we definitely don't know that. So anyways, we're definitely going to be talking about a pretty big outbreak here, I believe, on April 2nd, which is Wednesday. Again, we definitely could be talking about significant tornadoes, but it is a little too early to say exactly where that's going to be the greatest potential for, right? So anyway, that is our synopsis here for this weekend and early next week. Let's go ahead and dive right back into coverage here. Again, we've got ourselves a tornado warning in effect for the Arkansas-Louisiana state line for the town of Ida, but our rotation has passed Ida at this point. We kind of had a little bit of a velocity couplet handoff. Originally, our rotation was off to the northwest, but it handed off here, and sometimes we do see that re-intensify storm's rotation, so it looks like we could have something trying to spin back up here. So again, if you are included in this tornado warning, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately. And then our tornado warning further down to the south, we still don't have a confirmed tornado with that at this time, but again, that could certainly change. So if you're in this area, you need to be staying in your safe spot, again, preferably underground. If you can't get underground, get on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. If you haven't already, make sure to like the stream and subscribe. We do this every day for areas all across the country, whether it's severe weather, hurricanes, or winter storms. We've got you covered. And this weekend, hopefully, I'm going to be able to get some good storm chasing footage for you guys. We're going to be out there in the fields covering this live, because if you all don't know, I am located back into eastern Illinois, so kind of in the prime spot for this severe weather outbreak. So I'm definitely going to get you guys some good footage if we do end up seeing anything too significant out here. We're going to let you know what's going on from a surface view. Haven't confirmed it yet, but there may even be a chance that we're going chasing with somebody that you guys may or may not know. That's all I'm going to say. Again, not confirmed yet, absolutely not, but it is a potential. I'm going to say that much. So, anyway, again, our threat for severe weather here in sections of eastern Texas is slowly but surely starting to wane as supercells are struggling to maintain a discrete environment. Obviously, this is an area where we have just sporadic thunderstorm activity, and that's not good for a tornado threat. All right, we need these supercells to be discrete. We need them to be all alone so that they can take advantage of their own environment if we want to see a tornado threat with any of these. Now, again, we had a brief tornado up to the north, right up along the Louisiana-Arkansas state line, and that was actually due to a very brief period of time where this supercell was discrete, and it did manage to spin off a tornado. And again, the reason that we're seeing that now occlude is because that supercell merged from the south. So again, these supercells in an environment like this are going to have to be discrete, because honestly, I mean, this is not a very stacked environment. All right, sure, we've got ourselves a decent amount of moisture, a decent amount of CAPE. Shear could definitely be better, and again, even CAPE values aren't anything too crazy. If we take a look at things from the surface view, we can see that we've got ourselves a good few hundred CAPE across the region, again, up to 1,000 CAPE in some spots, close to 1,500 at times, which really is just enough, just barely enough for us to see any sort of tornado threat with these storms. So, again, really relying on a discrete environment out here if these storms do want to produce and maintain tornadoes on the ground. What's up, Michael? I'm doing pretty well. But yeah. Yeah, you got two types of mergers. You got your constructive mergers and you got your destructive mergers. And destructive mergers can take a storm that's producing a tornado. It doesn't matter if it's a violent tornado. It can completely kill them. It doesn't matter how strong the storm is. But if you got yourself a constructive merger, it can end up turning a little baby rain shower into a storm that produces a tornado. Thank you for tuning in, Robin. I do appreciate that. So it all comes down to the last second interactions between the storms. Back up to Minnesota, which again is not something we thought we'd have to be saying today. Or Hail Corps maintains through sections of eastern St. Louis County, I believe. Yeah, eastern Carrollton County, this would be. And eventually this is going to cross the Minnesota-Wisconsin state line, and I actually do think that this probably could maintain itself for a while. This is a discrete storm, and it's slowly but surely going to be heading into an environment where temperatures are getting ever so slightly warmer. So if a storm, that was a horrible voice crack. If we had the voice crack counter on, that would be going up there. No, but if a storm is maintaining this strength in 30-degree temperatures, obviously it's going to be able to do the same in 40-degree temperatures. So we're going to see this likely continue with a hail and wind threat off to the east-southeast towards the Hawthorne area. But anyway, we have had our tornado warning down to the south canceled for the Hemphill area. So if you're in that region, you're good now. You can leave your safe spot. But we're still watching this storm off to the north as it is slowly but surely becoming discrete again. But yeah, if we take a look actually at the NAM model here on Radar Omega, we can see that our CAPE values for this event are actually going to be quite high at times, especially the further south you go. If it would like to load, that would just be phenomenal. You know, we have to have this problem every day. Come on, any day now. Literally any day, that would be just spectacular. Okay, there we go. So again, CAPE values do look to be quite impressive, especially across the lower Mississippi Valley. We're going to be talking about CAPE values close to 3,500 at times for areas just along the Gulf Coast. Hey, Alan with the $2 dono. W. Allen in the chat. Alan is, if you don't know, the GOAT. He is quite literally the top donor of all time. So everybody spam those W. Allens in the chat. Spam them out there. What's up, William? How's it going? But again, Alan, you're the go, dude. Thank you so much for that $2 donation. Staying informed this weekend by Davis. Yes, we are going to have anywhere from 5 all the way potentially up to 20 hours, maybe even more, of coverage this weekend if worse comes to worse. But anyway, CAPE values, again, ranging anywhere from 3,500 to 4,000 across sections of extreme southeastern Louisiana and extreme southern Mississippi, even getting over 4,000, closer to 4,500 at times across the Macomb area. But again, this is one run of the NAM model, so obviously that's not set in stone. That's not the exact area it's going to happen over. But the overall point here is that they do get quite intense. Now, you may be thinking, okay, well, Davis, if the CAPE values are the highest down here in Dixie Alley, why are we not expecting Dixie Alley to see the greatest tornado threat? Well, that is because for severe storms fire, you need two main ingredients, CAPE and wind shear. We got the CAPE down to the south, but up to the north, we've got ourselves a significant amount of shear that we are expecting to be in place with this event. I forget that Radar Omega doesn't allow you to look at shear on the NAM model here, but if we take a look at the 850 millibar winds, again, we can see that again, this isn't exact, but the general area where we're going to be watching for the greatest amount of shear is going to come over the Ohio Valley, and that's the area where we have the best amount of CAPE and wind shear overlap. Now, if we take a look at significant tornado parameter values, again, we can see that they kind of peak back there into sections of the mid-Mississippi Valley for this event. Now, you may notice that there's a huge explosion in those values in eastern Texas here, and that is true, but we're only going to see something if storms can actually fire in this area and if they can become discrete. If you take a look at reflectivity, We don't have any storms firing in eastern Texas based off of the NAM model, but if one does develop, we may have to watch out for a significant tornado threat. So we'll be on the lookout for that, but again, our main focus is going to come over the mid-Mississippi Valley here at around 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. For our Sunday event, and then eventually it'll make its way mostly into the Ohio Valley there through the late nighttime hours. But again, tornadoes are going to be possible, guys, anywhere from, Michigan back down through Texas. I mean, this is one of the more widespread events that we've ever covered on this channel, and that's kind of what's making me think that we're going to have a potentially, very long weekend of coverage. I'm at 80 degrees in central Indiana, 80 degrees in northwestern Illinois. Back here in east central Illinois, we're at about 80 degrees right now. But I'll tell you what, the lower level jet, those winds are cranking right now across central Illinois. I got a video earlier. I mean, we're talking 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts out there right now. It's pretty intense. So, pretty crazy stuff out there right now in terms of wind across the Midwest. But outside of that, just a nice day, so, go out and enjoy it. So rotation with our northern storm here is starting to become less and less noticeable. So, what's up, AJ? Here we go again. That's about how I feel. Yeah, we're dealing with a very active pattern. If you guys don't know, we've been watching event after event really since February. It all kind of kicked off with the February 12th outbreak. Whoa! Holy crap, we've got some donations to go over. I missed these. We've got Robert Wilson with the $10 donation, Alan with another 20, and William with another 10. Davis is the livestream superstar. Guys, that is insane. You guys are awesome. Huge shout out to Robert, Alan, and William for all those donos. That's incredible. So let's go and get you guys thrown up there on the donation board. Let's do it. So we'll go ahead and put a apricot / William / Alan section. Again, that is insane. I really do appreciate every one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. Again, if you guys weren't here and I didn't have the opportunity to be doing this, I would be at a real job right now. I would be not very happy in life. I would be wanting to go home and look at weather. So I'm glad and I'm so thankful from you guys that that's a possibility. I really am. So again, huge thing to everybody. Oh wait, I guess Alan would be. I was thinking William. I get Alan and William confused because they're both the goats. No, you guys are all goats if you did donate. Oh wait, I already have William up there. It's Robert that we need. Let's throw Robert up there. And then we'll throw Alan at the number 1 spot there with $22 total. But again, I really cannot thank you guys enough. In a way, I feel like I don't deserve this. But, I mean, you guys are just incredible. You really are. And again, even to all the people that can't donate, I completely understand. And, I mean, these people are so generous. They really are. But I really do appreciate every one of you guys for tuning in, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. But yeah. Thank you guys so much. Welcome back, Roman. New velocity scan. Get our rotation with our storm that was originally tornado warning is becoming less and less impressive, and that tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So, give me just a second here. We're going to update the stream title. Alrighty. But again, huge thank you to Alan, William, Apricot, Robert, and Sam for all the donations. I guess Sam would still be on the dono board, wouldn't he? Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Okay, I'm sorry. Give me just a second here, guys. Is that meme still relevant? The hold up, wait a minute meme? Because I haven't heard it since like 2019. Is that UC Wolf Lover, were you Robert? Sam with the $2 donation. Whoa, Sam with the Sam with the 169. Let's get a W, Sam, in the chat. I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know you could do specific numbers with the donations through Super Chats. That's hilarious. W, Sam, in chat for the $1.69 donation. Just, of course, that's the kind of guy he is. Thank you to Sam, though, for the $1.69 donation. That's amazing. We have a deal that if we don't see a tornado rated higher than EF0 this weekend, then I have to donate him $69.42. It's crazy. W, Sam, though, for the $1.69 donation, in all seriousness. It really doesn't. I mean, for right now, honestly, we could probably go back up to the upper Midwest. Our storm now has been downgraded to quarter-sized hail, as our greatest hail report is only of quarter size from the Matoa area, and that was the area where we were thinking we had the largest hail fall over. So, peace out, Gooseman. Thank you for tuning in. Gooseman's another goat. What is it going to look like Sunday in Clarksville? Yeah, so Clarksville is kind of going to be at the epicenter of our greatest severe weather threat. Again, you're kind of right in the middle of that enhanced risk of severe weather that we have for Sunday. But I will tell you, that does not necessarily mean that you're going to end up seeing the most significant tornado threat. It looks like the greatest tornado threat in general is going to stay west of you and north of you. Now, you're still definitely going to have that threat for a couple of tornadoes, and again, maybe an isolated strong tornado threat as well, but the general consensus based off of the NAM and the GFS and all the other models that we can forecast with for this event is that the greatest tornado threat is for the afternoon and evening time hours going to come across the mid-Mississippi Valley, and then for the nighttime hours, they're going to come across the Ohio Valley. So I'm not going to tell you that you're not going to see something intense, because it looks like you are going to have a pretty decent chance at seeing some, again, at the very least, damaging winds and large hail, and again, potentially a couple of tornadoes. But I think that the greatest threat for the entirety of the event comes north and west of you. And again, a significant tornado threat, guys, is not guaranteed for this event. It's all contingent on if we get discrete supercells. Now, if something like this happens, where we have discrete cells firing in the early afternoon across, eastern Illinois and western Indiana, that would be very significant, and again, potentially a big-time tornado threat up there for the Ohio Valley if that happens. But keep in mind, the greatest environment for a severe weather threat is going to come later at night, whenever storms are not discrete for the most part. Again, we certainly could see some discrete supercells, but it's looking like our mode is mostly going to be linear for this event. So all those people out there that are saying this is going to be April 27th, 2011 2.0, I mean, you're just wrong. That's just factually incorrect. This is nowhere near even the March 14th through 15th outbreak. Okay, SPC can say that, but remember, that's the same organization that had a marginal risk of severe weather out for today. And am I saying that to crap all over the SBC? No. And I understand that you don't have to have discrete supercells. There's another voice crack. You don't have to have discrete supercells for a significant tornado threat, but it's the most ideal situation. If we see something like this, strong tornadoes could occur, and possibly will occur, but it's not going to be nearly as impressive as if we have discrete supercells firing all out ahead of this line. So, again, I think that sometimes people take exactly what the SBC says in their meso-analysis descriptions and their outlook descriptions, and they say, oh, that's what's going to happen. SBC has always been right for every event ever. And again, SBC is a far better forecasting organization than I ever will be, because I am one person. I'm just a boy that likes doing this. But I just think that maybe some people put a little bit too much reliance on their forecasts. So anyways. Yeah, they're bad. The voice cracks are bad. But anyway, again, I just want to throw that out there. But I do think that the SBC has done a very good job forecasting for this upcoming event. But keep in mind, guys, Day 6 enhanced risks were issued for the past two busts. Day 6 enhanced risks, which have only happened a handful of times ever, were busts. So, just keep in mind, not always going to be 100% accurate. And again, they don't claim to be. But anyway, back to what we were saying. Again, discrete supercells, if they do fire, are going to be very significant for an intense tornado threat. But No. Now people are taking my words out of my mouth. I didn't say the past two events have been busts. I said for the past two bust events. I didn't say the past two events have been busts. I said for the past two bust events. Let me say that. I did not say that the past two events have been busts. Central Illinois EAS, I'm worried for Sunday. I'm in Peoria and I just joined. I will say there's no reason to be worried, especially because the greatest severe threat looks to come pretty far off to your south and east. You're right along that slight enhanced risk line, but significant damaging winds still going to be a potential with this cluster of thunderstorms that we're expecting earlier in the morning. And again, if that line of storms does develop a little bit further off to the west, we could be watching for a couple of tornadoes in your area. But yeah. Get that charger that's wrapped around your... Okay. Alright. New severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for sections of northwestern Wisconsin. This is for Hawthorne. If you're in this area, make sure you're moving indoors immediately. Some quarter-sized hail can be expected with these storms. What time is it supposed to hit Indy? Yeah, so again, Indianapolis looks like it's mainly going to be an overnight event. But we're also talking about the potential for a couple of discrete cells to develop in the mid to late afternoon time hours. So we'll see. But the greatest threat's going to come around midnight for the Indianapolis metro area. Midnight Eastern time, that is. Indiana is weird with the time zones. Really is. It's weird because the Eastern time zone barrier is shaped legitimately exactly like this. That is how it is shaped. It is weird. It is weird. Peace out, severe weather. It's interesting to me because you could go into, for example, I do this all the time. You could go into Terre Haute, you've got yourself in an Eastern time zone, but you go to Evansville, you're in Central time. So... if I have one more person tell me to switch to weather-wise, I'm going to lose it. I really am. You know what? No, I'm not going to crash out. I'm not going to do it. I can stay under control. Kind of. Whew. All right. Anyway, back on task. People are talking about this in, what's up, Porter? People are talking about this in, a group chat that I'm in. We're not expecting this. I posted this on Twitter whenever it first got severe warned. What is actually this? What is this? It's not even that I don't like the app. It's just, why are we saying that this is the best radar app out there? I don't understand. Anyway. Crash out imminent. Yeah, this is a crash out watch, now put in place. But yeah. Again, we were not expecting this. How are we seeing a severe thunderstorm maintain itself in 32-degree temperatures? Yep. Yep. That's what I have to say about that. Now, it's not as it sounds on at first glance, because you say that and, 32 degrees severe thunderstorm, that is insane. I don't want to underplay that at all. But keep in mind, this is for a hail threat. It's almost better that it's cooler up here. Now, is it better for the storms that it's 32 degrees? No, heck no. But it's better for the hail threat that there's no moisture out here. And again, it's not like this is for wind. If we were seeing a severe warning for wind in 32-degree temperatures, that would be absurd. It's Weatherman6651 is my @ because originally I didn't have it connected to the Davis's Weather channel. But peace out, Seawolf lover. It's not. It's just so much not the best. Anyway, a new mesoscale for Davis 60% chance of seeing a crash out. I don't want to do the weather-wise conversation today. No, we're dead. If we see a tornado with this severe thunderstorm, I will shave my head. I will shave my head. With this severe thunderstorm. I want to make that clear. I'm only talking about with our Minnesota-Wisconsin storm. At this point, though, the tornado threat down in Texas and Louisiana, again, is certainly not as high as it was earlier. Clipped what one? Guys, please do try to keep the chat family friendly. Oh, clipped. Because I said the haircut thing. I was like, what did I do? I was worried I actually did something. I will get a low taper fade if this storm produces a tornado. Clip that. I will get a low taper fade permanently. Careful, remember the sit-ups. That's true. That wasn't based off of a severe weather promise, though. That was based off the community, and I have a lot of faith in this community. Because they're awesome people. What's up, Sean? Don't pull a max. Oh gosh. Yeah. I got like 500 views off that though, so Loki, it was worth him shaving his head. No, I'm kidding. But I wasn't kidding about the 500 views thing. And at the time, that was pretty big. If you haven't seen that video, make sure to go check it out. It's pretty funny. Am I for sure going chasing tomorrow? Not tomorrow. I won't be going chasing tomorrow, Mayday, but on Sunday, yes. Sunday will be the day that we end up going chasing, and again, it's a possibility that we do end up chasing with somebody that you guys may or may not know. But again, it's not confirmed yet, so I don't want to... I want to kind of keep that one a little bit secretive until it's... I want to keep it secretive until I pop up on their channel. That's what I'm going to say. Apple Default is the best weather app. That's crazy. Bro, the weather-wise trolling. Dude. No, it's not. It won't be members only. I will say, though, I'm not even certain that I want to go chasing, because, not that I don't want to chase, I do want to chase, but it's one of those days where it's going to be very important that we're back here doing coverage. Thanks, Mom's house got destroyed recently. I'm so sorry to hear that. I really do appreciate that $2 donation, though. W Cave Beast in the chat again. That's awful to hear. It really is. That's the sad thing, is, again, we sit here and we get excited over severe weather events and, tornado threats like this. I think sometimes people forget that these are very real tragedies and disasters. Cave City, Arkansas. That was a big one. That was one of the biggest tornadoes of that weekend. So, again, W Cave Beast in the chat. Again, I'm very sorry to hear that. That is quite sad. Again, the Cave City tornado was, again, rated EF3, one of the stronger tornadoes that we saw with last weekend's devastating event. Pretty sad stuff. But yeah, I hope she's doing okay. The Cave City, Arkansas tornado did have 3 fatalities, I believe. I don't even remember exactly where Cave City's at. That whole night was kind of a blur. But we were covering that one live. Yeah, okay. So that would have been... Yeah, that would have been the same tornado as... not the same tornado as Cherokee Village, but adjacent to it and at the same time. Again, I still can't believe Bakersfield was EF3 140. That's insane. That is unbelievable. Is a cave a good tornado shelter? It probably would be. Mom survived because I was watching weather streams and warned her 4 minutes before it hit. I'm very happy to hear that. I really am. Because the work we do here, and I will tell you, everybody in this field has thought this at some point. It is, am I really helping anybody? Are we really actually telling people to get to their shelter, and are we actually helping them? Did they not already know? So many people did not already know. Because in this day and age, even though you could have up to a dozen ways to receive alerts within the second that a warning gets issued, but people don't take advantage of that. And they go out of their way to avoid it, which is crazy to me. People go into their settings, turn off tornado warnings on their phones. They don't have a no weather radio, and sirens are hit or miss in every single community. They really are. It's sad. People don't think that, tornadoes and severe thunderstorms ruin lives and even end lives in more drastic situations, but they do. And it is always necessary to have a way to receive alerts, but some people aren't going to do that. People don't watch the news. We know that. In 2025, people are not going on cable television and watching the news live covering this. So, us YouTube streamers, again, even on this channel here, we've had so many people tell us that, hey, you're the only reason that I took shelter in that tornado warning, and I truly do appreciate that. We had people watching during the Port Arthur tornado, one of the most significant tornadoes of 2024. So, again, it really does warm my heart to know that we are actually helping people here. And again, it's a blessing that I'm able to do this now. It really is. And again, I can't thank you guys enough. Yeah, we actually, I legitimately did stop, and I did do a prayer, specifically during the Bakersfield tornado, because I saw that, and I knew that, again, it's unfortunate, it's sad to think about, but I knew not everybody was making it out of that, and they didn't. 3 people died in my tiny neighborhood, just a couple hundred feet from my house. Yeah. Yeah, it happens. It happens so many times. Every single year, people don't take shelter because they don't know what's coming. Oh my gosh. Somebody popped the question, is William Spann related to James Spann? How's Kentucky looking? Again, Kentucky, it's an interesting state because I honestly think that Kentucky could be the hot spot for Sunday. I think in general, if you're asking for like a specific state that would be the most active tornadoically, I think it would be Kentucky. Mainly because Kentucky is going to have an all-day thing. Kentucky is going to be under the gun in different portions of the state. Yes, it's not like you're going to see storms all day in the same area. If you're just sitting there, you may only get hit once, but once is all it takes in an environment like this. And again, Kentucky is going to be an all-day thing here, guys. Look at this. This is noon. This is lunchtime. We've already got significant tornado values heading into Kentucky. And again, this is in an area where we're also going to have some thunderstorms already firing. And then at the same time, as we continue to watch these push off to the east, they're going to intensify. Let's go back to significant tornado parameter values here. Again, Kentucky is going to have a very significant tornado threat, especially western Kentucky. The further west you go, the more nasty it looks, from noon all the way through to midnight. So, yeah, again, it's one big line of storms here, guys. And again, discrete cells in the afternoon time hours could cause a problem as well. And I don't think that's being talked about enough. I do think that we certainly could see a tornado or two touchdown in this general region in the early afternoon time hours with enough instability in the particular environments. Abbeville, South Carolina, again, mainly to be looking at a wind threat, I would say. But I will tell you, I would not rule out a tornado whatsoever in that area. I really wouldn't. So, make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts, and we will be live if anything too significant does occur. Are the chances in the level 2 area in East Tennessee very high? So, you're going to be looking at a pretty dangerous scenario just because it's going to be an overnight thing. So, you got to make sure that you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Again, we were just talking about that. You got to have something that's going to wake you up. Now, the actual threat for significant severe weather looks to mainly be damaging winds. But again, a couple of tornadoes definitely cannot be ruled out. So again, make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Make sure you're staying tuned into the stream because we will be live for hopefully every single tornado that touches down this weekend. That's a bit of a bold statement, but we want to do our best to help every single person here. Yeah, I did a poll, which outbreak was more devastating, March 14th through the 15th, or March 31st through April 1st in 2023. Even though the overall tornado count was less with March 14th through 15th, I think it was far worse. I really do. And it wasn't even that much less. Again, we had more violent tornadoes. We had, I believe, more fatalities. We had worse radar coverage in all these areas, which led to us having no idea what the heck was happening, and also to us not realizing that one of the most violent tornadoes in months, if not years, was on the ground with the Diaz tornado. It's insane. Again, Diaz, Arkansas. We were live whenever it happened, but we were focusing on Missouri because we could see what was happening in Missouri. And we could see this Arkansas tornado, but not very well. Keep in mind, nearest radar site, about 80 miles away. W. Sam for another $1.69 donation. What's up, Pete? How's it going? That's crazy, Sam. A double $1.69 donation. W. Sam's in the chat. I shouldn't be laughing at that. It's not that funny. Maturity. We're very mature here. Very serious. In all seriousness, though, thank you for the $1.69 donation. Yeah, I'm doing well, Pete. I really am. Peace out, Porter. Thank you for tuning in. Connor. That's an inside joke. If he's still watching, he understands. But, Alan is a rock star. Allen's the GOAT, dude. I'm telling you. Anyway, chat. Our Minnesota-Wisconsin storm is slowly but surely starting to taper off. If anybody says anything about low taper fade, I'm gonna lose it. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, again, we're starting to see that taper off, and we are likely going to be able to end off stream here shortly. Colby, I believe, when will Frankfort, Kentucky be hit? We've got, hold on, I'll answer that in a second, but we've got Hot Springs first. Hot Springs, Arkansas is going to be an area where we're definitely going to be watching for a couple of tornadoes, but it's going to be interesting because it is an entirely conditional threat. Once again, I actually think that Saturday you could have a pretty decent chance at seeing some severe weather. But again, that's all dependent on if storm coverage makes it that far south. And then for Sunday, we're likely going to see storms develop just to the east of you, but that is not certain. And if we see something like what the most recent NAM run wants it to, we're going to see this. We're going to see these storms here potentially produce a couple of tornadoes in southwestern Arkansas before they take that line formation, if they're discrete. So for Hot Springs, I would say 7 through 10 p.m., be on the lookout. Because I definitely would not rule out an isolated tornado or two in that area. But outside of that, not too much. And then we had somewhere in Kentucky. Where was that at? Oh, I do, Roman. That was disgusting. Frankfort, Kentucky. We are mainly going to be watching for a wind threat. And I know that's kind of the general consensus for all these cities closer to the East Coast. But it really is. We're mainly going to be watching for a damaging wind threat, but an isolated tornado or two can't be ruled out. Probably 3, 4 a.m. Eastern time, maybe closer to 5 a.m. even. So you're likely to be asleep. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts Monday morning, whenever you go to bed Sunday night. Okay, that sounds like fun, Caleb. Davis Rowley saving lives since 2024. We've been doing this on YouTube since 2023. Rotation near Elm Grove, Louisiana. Wherever that is, I'm going to assume that it's probably not going to be able to maintain itself. Oh, okay, yeah. So that's certainly there, north of Palmetto. I see what you're talking about, but again, not necessarily discreet enough, and it kind of just got hit by another cell down to the south, so we'll see what happens, but thank you for pointing that out to me. You Illinois boys work hard. I appreciate it. It doesn't match with the sill. Well, yeah, it does. What's up, Cookie? It matches with the sill. If you look a few scans back, you can see it. Yeah, certainly, William. 37809. Is that a zip code, I'm assuming? Is this Tennessee? Again, if it's Eastern Tennessee, which I think it is, I think I've heard you talk about that area before, gonna be like an early morning thing. Again, damaging winds of 70 to 80 miles an hour can't be ruled out, and a couple of tornadoes certainly possible, so make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts overnight. Wait for this next velocity scan here. Let me check scope, see if it's loaded yet. What's up, Storm Chaser 575? How's it going? Let's look at scope. Scope. You are giving us the same scan still. That's what I get for doubting Omega. If you look in the higher levels of the atmosphere, it's still there, so that is rotation. Even if you look at, like, different velocity products, you can see it, like, storm relative velocity. Wow, Omega's getting this one before scope. Okay. Rotation continues over the Sligo area. This is Radar Omega, yes. Again, available on iOS and Android for the small price of $8.99. And, I mean, this is just as capable as the stuff that they use on the news. Not a sponsor, but that would be awesome if that happens one day. Wouldn't roll it as tornado warning for this. I think it's got to intensify a little bit, and I don't know if it's going to be able to do that. But we have seen tornado warnings go out for things weaker than this, that's for sure. And there we go. Wow. Okay. W call out by Sam. Literally 5 seconds before it gets issued. I don't know if you already saw that or not. Maybe he's playing a game on us. But new tornado warning there for Houghton and portions of Interstate 20. If you're in this area, seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. Again, rotation right now being located right over Sligo. Again, would not be shocked to see this produce a tornado down the line. So seek shelter immediately. So again, tornado warning there for portions of, that would be Bossier Parish in Louisiana. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and update that stream title, and there we go. You didn't know? W call out then. Literally, you say it, and then 10 seconds later it happens. But, again, if you're in this area, seek shelter immediately. Again, rotation's going to be approaching Bodco Park and Marywoods in the next 15 minutes or so. So seek shelter if you're in this area. That's what I was thinking, if Weatherwise had it. Because Weatherwise does get alerts a few seconds before Omega, and that's the one thing that I think it has in Omega. And just other radar apps in general. Fallout, like Fallout 66. New velocity scan backing off on the rotation just a tad bit. So, I don't really share my Discord publicly, Sean. There's a webcam on I-20 I'm watching. Okay. Let me know if you see anything. Because obviously the surface view is going to be more important than what we see here. Again, had some decently intense rotation there for just a second. And I would say that it kind of tapered off, but I can't say the word taper in 2025. Our storm to the north, still severe warned. So that's cool. Is there any tornadoes near Houghton? We don't have any tornadoes on the ground right now. But if you are in Houghton, we would recommend that you seek shelter because you are included in this tornado warning. And you do have some tornadic circulation heading your way. So again, if you are in that area, I don't know if you were just asking in general, but if you're in that area, make sure you're seeking shelter on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Away from windows, get into an interior room, again, preferably a basement or a bathroom on the lowest floor. Red Omega paid off for me last spring, and I had to take shelter for an inbound storm when no one was live streaming at 2 a.m. Yeah, that is one time a day where you will not see us going live for quite a while, just because I do live with other people, and I do want to have a general respect for people's sleep schedules. So I typically try to avoid streams after midnight, unless it's something very serious ongoing. You are in the Houghton area? Yeah, make sure you're seeking shelter if you are in Houghton. Again, it looks like our circulation is going to go just west of you, though. Again, that'll be crossing I-20 in the next 15, 20 minutes. So, seek shelter. Alright, peace out, Sam. I don't think so, William. I personally don't think so. Again, I think tomorrow is mainly going to be a Kansas-Missouri thing, and I don't think it's going to be anything super significant. But, if the cap does erode, could we see a strong tornado? Certainly. I mean, tomorrow is the perfect example of, give us that 5% hatched risk. It is the perfect example of a 5% hatched risk. Because we are going to have very high significant tornado parameter values. Ugh, I can't speak. I see significant tornado parameters so fast it doesn't even sound real. I see a Storm Chaser 575. But we're going to have some decently high significant tornado parameter values late, Saturday night, tomorrow night. So we could certainly end up seeing something significant. But is it guaranteed? Absolutely not. So if you throw out a 10 hatch for it, people are going to go nuts because nothing's likely going to happen. But if you don't give it a hatch risk, then people are going to be like, what if something happens? So the solution here is clearly add that 5% hatch risk. They've been teasing it for so long. So long. I remember hearing about this in August of last year, and they just haven't gone anywhere with it. Just throw it out there. Tomorrow is a 5% hatch risk for North Texas and Southern Oklahoma. Levi, how's it going? What's up, Samuel? But yeah, I wish they would add that 5% hatch risk. But, what can you do? We are, Levi. It's crazy. Again, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. The support recently has been insane. 4 hatched is valid. It honestly, low-key is. And with the new update that they've been teasing, they actually mentioned a 2 hatched potential. But that's for another day. But yeah, mainly from the Rolling Fork video. Again, I'm so happy that that did so well, and I'm very glad you guys enjoyed it, because I spent a month straight on that video. But go subscribe to Levi if you've not already. He's going to be dropping pretty soon here. Forget the Playboy Cardi album drop. This is what you need to be focusing on, the Levi drop. But I think he's going to start posting more soon because he's starting to actually start chasing. So, again, I hate to put him up to something that he hasn't said, but stop stealing your quote. What quote? What quote did I steal? The Playboy Cardi thing? I didn't realize you made a joke about that, if that's what you're talking about. No, me and Levi are not chasing together. That's not what I was talking about. That's for another day? You claim that quote now? No, Levi, in all seriousness, though, Levi and I are not chasing together. Because he's going to be... The problem is, he can't go too far away from Tennessee, and I can't go too far away from Illinois. So, we're kind of just barely separated from each other. It's so sad. But... You know what? I wouldn't be shocked if we go on some chases together maybe next year. What's up, my man? I'm in Houghton. If you are in Houghton, you need to be seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. Again, rotation looks to go quite far to the west of you at this point, and it's quite weak now anyways. But err on the side of caution here. That one I did steal. I saw somebody in chat say it earlier, but I mean, I probably would have said it anyway. But yeah, rotation's going to be approaching Bodcow Park and Mary Woods over the next 10 minutes or so. Broad convergence. Grayson will take you if we get up that way. Bet, dude. Levi knows who I might be chasing with. Again, I might be. Maybe. It's not confirmed in any way, but Levi knows who I might be chasing with. They finally canceled our severe warning on the Wisconsin storm. Minnesota-Wisconsin storm, that is. You have some suspects. I'd like to see you list them out. Because I'd be willing to bet that you would not guess this one. I'm laughing about something that happened earlier. Storm Media is going live in 30 for their drive down to Texas. So, we'll see what happens. We need to fix the overlay, though, before tomorrow. That will be done. Because tomorrow is where everything really starts to kick off. And we're going to be dealing with severe weather from tomorrow, potentially all the way through mid-April, every single day. I mean, this is one of the most active patterns that we've seen for this early in the year since the March 31st outbreak. What's up, Mr. Twister? It is none of those people. One Nation weather. No. It is not One Nation weather. It was quite a day. Yeah, you could say that. By the way, we have not even mentioned this. We are currently watching for a big-time ice storm potential in the UP of Michigan. Currently, we do have some freezing rain falling over the UP and the northern portions of Wisconsin and Minnesota. Again, we mentioned this in one of our forecasts. This is one of the most significant ice storms we've seen this year. There is a high risk of extreme ice accumulation put out by the Storm Prediction Center. Or not the Storm Prediction Center, but WSSI, I think it is. If we turn that on, here are your probabilities of seeing a quarter inch of ice or more. You can see you got that marginal risk, not marginal, but we're going to call it a marginal risk going all the way from Wisconsin back into New Hampshire. You've got your moderate risk, which is actually called a moderate risk going all the way from upstate New York back through the UP of Michigan. And then those pink swaths there, those tiny little pink swaths, those are your high risks. We got one of them centered over portions of Canada and one of them over northern Michigan. These are the areas where we think we are going to see significant impacts to daily travel. So please, if at all possible, avoid icy roadways in these areas. And even tomorrow, we're going to be watching for more ice potential. High risk across portions in northeastern Wisconsin. The day 3 outlook, we do have a little swath over portions of Canada. By then, we're expecting the system to not be a United States problem. But this is going to be one of the more significant winter storms that we've seen for late March in the United States in a while. Yeah, it's James Spann. I'm going chasing with James Spann tomorrow. Tulsa risk tomorrow. So Tulsa again is going to be in the area where we think there is going to be a conditional risk for a couple of tornadoes. If you were to see a tornado, it would be a late nighttime thing most likely. If we take a look at the composite reflectivity here on the NAM model on the 18Z, we can see that we are expecting some thunderstorms to develop through your area at about 3 a.m. Again, kind of a late nighttime thing for the Tulsa metro. Tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Again, make sure your multiple receive alerts, but damaging winds look to be the main thing as of right now. And again, there's also a chance that if this line, stays further to the north, that you end up seeing nothing. March 31st, part 2. But yeah. Again, if you are new here, make sure to subscribe because we do this every day for areas all across the country. There was nobody else live today for this. But we're here. And again, I'm not saying I'm some ultimate forecaster that is the smartest person in the world, but we do try our best here. And again, we're going to try and give you guys the most accurate information possible. I'm not even, again, it's not even confirmed that I'm chasing it with this person. Again, I'm getting footage no matter what, guys, so don't worry. But there's a chance that I'm chasing with somebody very special. Again, I hope it works out. But the offer has been thrown out there. That's all I'll say from the other person. So if it doesn't happen, blame me. See, that's the thing, Mr. Twister. I can't really say. I mean, I could say, but I want to keep you guys in suspense. I could actually get them on the phone right now. I don't know if they're busy or not, though. They're driving, I'd imagine. Circulation is passing close to the cam. Strong winds and blinding rain. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be traveling along the interstate in conditions like this. Doesn't really matter how good a driver you are at this point. Again, try to get off and take shelter. How's Louisville, Kentucky looking? Again, mainly going to be like a midnight through 2 a.m. thing for the Louisville Metro. Mainly going to be some damaging winds, but some tornadoes definitely can't be ruled out. So make sure your multiplays receive alerts. Again, if anything significant does happen in the Louisville area, we will be live. Assuming it's not at like 5 a.m. Because, guys, that's another problem. I am going to have to get sleep at some point. It doesn't matter how active it is. Because we're going to be going from a long day tomorrow through a long day Saturday, or through a long day Sunday, rather, through a long day Monday. So there are going to be points where I have to sleep. It is just the truth. Humans need sleep to function. I already know there's going to be people that are freaking out that I'm not going to be live at 4:32 a.m. I'm sorry. If I could, I genuinely would. If necessary, obviously. But it's not realistic. Again, you want to try and stay healthy whenever you're doing stuff like this, which it can be hard whenever you have a weekend where you're doing 20 hours of coverage. But yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, also very long days. So again, very large slight risk put out for Wednesday there. And again, potential that I'm chasing again on Wednesday. It's going to be insane, dude. But I'm ready for it. I really am. We've been waiting for this event for so long now. It's time for it to finally happen. It is. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, we may not have a forecasting video out tonight, like I said, because we basically did the entire forecast and more than we would usually do this stream. Again, we were live for an hour yesterday. We've been live for an hour and a half today. I think we've kind of covered everything that we need to talk about for this event here. So, I am very surprised this tornado warning is still in effect. I will be honest with you guys. I don't know what's the deal here. I mean, we've got broad rotation at best, but I guess better to be safe than sorry. But I think we can probably end off here. So, if you guys did enjoy this stream, make sure to like and subscribe. Give me just a second. Let me look at... Hold on. Okay, we're good. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss any PayPal donations, because I do that a lot. We're ending off the stream here, so thank you all for tuning in. Again, I am very excited for the next few days, also a little nervous. But we have done this so many weekends in a row now, it doesn't even feel like it's going to be that big of a deal. So I think we're good to sign off. Again, thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Stay safe.